welcome to the MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment. It is time to continue my 2016 season recaps and 2017 previews, and today we're talking about the New Orleans Saints, and I believe this was a slightly disappointing year for the New Orleans Saints, although I was pretty damn close when it came to predicting this season. I had the Saints going 8-8 before the season. They ended up going 7-9, so that's a pretty good prediction by me. I saw a lot of issues with this team defensively, and there proved to be a lot of issues for this team defensively. So we're going to look back to the 2016 season, and then we shall look forward to the 2017 offseason. So let's start with some key games from this 2016 campaign. And you look at the first three games, man. L, and L, all losses by the New Orleans Saints. And the first game was just a killer, as Derek Carr goes for 2, Jack Del Rio goes for 2 against the Oakland Raiders, and they absolutely kill you on that 2-point conversion and kill your team ultimately. This is a game that you probably should have won, or at least, really you should have won, okay? You're looking at a 2-point conversion, 50% chance, maybe even like 55% chance in your favor, and you blow it. You can't make a play to win a game, and that would remain consistent throughout this season. But for me, the real key game from this stretch was the third one. Okay, that was the one on Monday Night Football against the Atlanta Falcons, and you guys couldn't stop them at all. I mean, to save your lives, I saw some of the worst linebacking play I've seen in my life, some of the worst defense I've seen in my life. This Saints defense on this occasion was an absolute travesty. It was a disaster. It was an abomination. It was just disgraceful, the defensive effort that they put on Monday Night Football. So 0-3 start yet again. I really believe the Saints also started 0-3 in their 2015 season campaign as well. So really, this Saints team under Sean Payton lately, horrible starts to the season. It's just bad right now. So anyway, after that though, you're able to win a couple games. Then you guys lose to the Chiefs, and to me, this is yet another key game. If you guys can win this game, you guys could really get on a nice run here and save your season. But losing to the Chiefs in Kansas City really hurt your chances there. And then from there were some games that were of note, yes. But the next key game for me had to be against the Broncos. Talking about letting up that 2-point conversion. I want to say, was it blocked? I want to say a kick blocked, an extra point blocked, return for a touchdown, and the whole Will Parks stepping out of bounds thing, all of that fiasco and whatnot. A horrible result for you in the Saints team that again was looking to get on a run, but again, that run was absolutely stalled and stopped. But for me, the last key game of the season, I would say that it occurred, let's say, against the Cardinals. Okay, in Arizona, great win there, put up 48 on the Arizona Cardinals, great win, and it showed you that this team still has a lot of potential within them. Let's look at the positional breakdown for this Saints team during the 2016 season. Let's start at the head of the football team, the quarterback, Drew Brees, who had another great season. Even at 37 or 38 years old, this guy is still absolutely incredible. A great year, of course, from Drew Brees. Now, he had a bad stretch in there, okay, I want to say near the later end of the season, possibly like week 12, week 13. He had like a couple 3 interception games, but outside of that, he was very, very good. Look at the running back position, Mark Ingram. I think his best year as a professional since Alabama. I mean, this guy was absolutely incredible, over 5 yards per carry. Only had 6 touchdowns, but I think that was just more so due to the fact that the Saints were more willing to run John Kuhn in short yardage situations than Mark Ingram. Why? I don't know, because I think Mark Ingram is very capable of getting in from 1 or 2 yards out, but whatever, okay? Whatever floats your boat. So they did that. Also, the backup running backs were pretty good. John Kuhn, he's a fullback, but he played pretty well. He did his job. Tim Hightower, I liked his role for this team. You even saw Daniel Lasco a little bit, your 7th-round rookie out of, I want to say, California, do a little bit. So, this Saints running backs, they've been good for years past, but it was nice to see Mark Ingram have his best year as a professional and to remain healthy throughout an entire season. Look at the wide receivers. How about Michael Thomas? Michael Thomas, your 2nd-round pick out of Ohio State, a fantastic year for him. Over 1,100 receiving yards, fantastic year for Michael Thomas. Brandon Cooks, Okay, this guy was absolutely incredible as well. Over 1,100 receiving yards for him as well. Now, this is an interesting question I have for Saints fans. Who would you consider to be your true number one or best wide receiver? There's an argument to be made for both. Brandon Cooks gives you the highlight plays, the big plays that you need, and he can win games for you. I mean, he can just score an 80-yard touchdown and the game is won for you. But Michael Thomas is that possession receiver, the guy that just keeps moving the chains and moving the chains and moving the chains. It's really interesting debate, but hey, at least you have both, right? It's a nice juxtaposition to have, a nice balance there at the wide receiving position. Oh, and by the way, we have Willie Snead, who's pretty good in his own right. So really impressed with these wide receivers. Now, outside of these top three, there's not much there, but it's fine because these three are going to give you so much anyway. But Brandon Coleman, didn't see him doing much at all, and outside of him, there's not much at all either, like guys like Tommy Lee or, whatever. So just give me, these wide receivers to me, they're very good right now. And I really like them. We look at the offensive line. Now, Teron Armstead continues to be a very good left tackle, but the problem is this year he was injured. Okay, he missed like 8 games this year. Andres Pete had to slide over a little bit, and he struggled again. He's getting better. Andres Pete, your second-year player now. Now he's going to be third year in 2017, but you took him in the 2015 draft in the first round with, I want to say, the 11th pick, and he hasn't been great. Okay, he's a guy that needs to improve. I've not been impressed with Andres Pete. He's not terrible. He's not as bad as like a Cameron Irving or a Greg Robinson. But the boy needs to improve. We look at the other positions. How about the guards, Tim Lelito and Jahri Evans? And, I think they've been better in the past. I don't think it was great years for them, but they were still good. And then you also look at Zach Strief at the right tackle position. He continues to be one of the best right tackles in the league. Tight end position, Coby Fleener. Now, he's been under a lot of criticism this year, and I don't think deservedly so. I think he did what I expected him to do, definitely. I mean, this is a guy that I don't know why people were expecting Coby Fleener to come in and get 1,000 receiving yards. That was never going to happen. He's going to cap out at about 650, maybe 700 if you're lucky, and he got 631. So to me, I'm fine with what Coby Fleener did this year. Now, too many drops, okay, and too many miscommunications in terms of route running, the depths for his routes and whatnot, but I thought he did fine. You look at the defensive side of things. Let's start with the defensive line. Cameron Jordan at defensive end continues to be a great defensive end for this football team, and he's the defensive MVP. And by the way, the offensive MVP was obviously Drew Brees. We look at the other defensive end position, though. I have a problem here. Obviously, Paul Kruger, whether he plays 4-3, strong side linebacker or defensive end, he's sometimes dilly-dallies in both. He hasn't been very good. Okay, you look at Darryl Tapp, hasn't done much, and just this other defensive end position for the Saints has been a problem. They can't find someone opposite of Cameron Jordan to make a consistent impact, and we all can agree that that is a need for this team moving forward. And it hurt that they did not have Hau'oli Kikaha this year. Again, this is a guy that kind of plays some strong side linebacker, kind of plays some defensive end, but either way, still, this team needs a defensive end opposite of Cameron Jordan. Look at the defensive tackles. What a great year from Nick Fairley. And he's continued to be one of these one-year rental guys in the NFL that come in and play very well. He's doing that consistently year in, year out. I thought it was a great year from Nick Fairley. The other defensive tackle position, Sheldon Rankins, your first-round rookie out of Louisville, and I liked him. Some people didn't like him. I know Pro Football Focus gave him a horrible grade, but I saw him getting after the quarterback. I saw him doing the things that he needed to do. He could be a little better in terms of stopping the run. He let up a couple missed tackles and didn't actually look with his eyes as to perceiving where running backs were going in the run game and sensing where quarterbacks would probably step up in some situations in the pocket. But I thought he played well, and I'm very encouraged with his play his rookie season. Obviously, he missed like half the year, so I liked his play. We look at the linebackers. Okay, so Donnell Ellerbe, he's okay, but he's not good enough. Craig Robertson, he's okay, but he's really not good enough. Nathan Stupar, not really good at all. Stephone Anthony benched. I mean, this guy just wasn't playing at all. And from what I could gather, it had nothing to really do with injuries. He's just in like the doghouse now for the New Orleans Saints. So a lot of issues in this linebacking core. They could use 3 new linebackers to me, maybe even at least. This linebacking core right now for the Saints is a disaster. Look at also James Laurinaitis. He's old. You know, they just need a lot of talent here at the linebacker position. And they just took 2 in the 2015 draft in Hau'oli Kikaha and Stephone Anthony. I like Kikaha moving forward. Anthony, I don't, and they don't. Okay, so this linebacking core continues to be such an issue. The secondary. Now, Delvin Breaux had a very good year last year. Started being banged up a little bit this year, but when he came back, wasn't very good. You look at P.J. Williams. Same thing, banged up last year, actually. This year, banged up a little bit, and he played okay, I'd say. Maybe I'm encouraged by him. Look at the other cornerback, Sterling Moore. He's a plug-in guy. You know, you don't want to commit to him for too long, I would say. Also, Ken Crawley, this guy's just bad. So these cornerbacks, they need a lot of work right now. The safeties, Jarvis Byrd, who you signed to a ridiculous contract now, and I look to see his contract to see if, hey, can you guys just release this guy and just move on? No, and I'm not saying that he's bad, but you look at his contract. First of all, there's way too much dead cap if you were to release him, so he's not going anywhere. But the guy is just getting paid too much for what he gives you. He doesn't give you much. He's just kind of like a plug-in guy, not a playmaker, not nearly the playmaker he was for the Buffalo Bills. And it's a shame. Maybe he'll get to that point again, but man, I doubt it. You look at Kenny Vaccaro. I like him. Okay, I like Vaccaro. He's a guy that can play slot corner a little bit, play strong safety. He continues to play well to me. And then Von Bell, your 3rd-round rookie out of Ohio State. I like this play, and I liked the rookie production, I would say, from this rookie class as a whole, from this Saints rookie class. And let's look back at that in the grades I gave this draft class. So, you know, we look at Sheldon Rankins. I gave that one a B+, and I'm sticking with that grade. Okay, I don't think, again, some people didn't like his play, some analytics, but when I saw him, I turned on the film, I thought he was pretty good. I think this B+ grade has been very good. Look at the Michael Thomas pick. I gave that pick an A+. It's been exactly an A+. What a fantastic grade from me. We look at the Von Bell pick. I gave it a B. Perhaps it could be more. Maybe a B+, a little bit more, but I think this grade has been pretty good. David Onyemata, I gave that pick a C-, and he's probably been a little better than that. I thought he was just going to flame out. I didn't think he was going to make the roster after next year, so we'll see. But I think it's been a little better than that. And then Daniel Lasco, your 7th-round pick. Not a big deal, but I just wanted to revisit it. I gave that pick an A+, and he made the roster as a 7th-round pick, so that's pretty good. He hasn't been as good as I thought he was going to be, though. I thought he was going to be really dynamic in the Saints offense, so probably a little lower, but not much lower. And I give this whole draft class a B+, and I think it's proven to be a B+. And especially if Sheldon Rankins can come back and be pretty dominant, let's say he's a Pro Bowler, let's say Von Bell turns to a Pro Bowler, this is going to be an A+ draft for the New Orleans Saints. So, with that in mind, who's the clown of the year? For me, I really couldn't find one on this roster. I guess if I had to say one, probably Stephone Anthony. Okay, a guy that just, I don't know what he's doing, but he's obviously in the doghouse for this football team, and that's just a disaster because they can't afford to have another linebacker come in and just do nothing for this football team. A wasted draft pick, it seems, for Stephone Anthony. We look at the 2017 offseason now. The 2016 season is gone. Let's look at the 2017 offseason. Cap space. A good amount. An okay amount, actually. So we have $36 million in cap room, and we have 6 draft picks, okay, and then some key free agents, okay, Nick Fairley, Tim Lelito, Jahri Evans, Roman Harper, Tim Hightower, Paul Kruger, John Kuhn, Sterling Moore. Ouch. Okay, now you can, if you wanted to re-sign everybody, you can re-sign everybody, but your cap space will pretty much be gone, and you won't be able to pursue some free agents. What I would do is I want Fairley back. I want Fairley there. I like Rankins, and I like what he did this year, but let's pair him with Nick Fairley. I like Tim Lelito and Jahri Evans. Okay, they've been there for a while. They have continuity with this offense. If they're not asking for too much, I would re-sign them. Roman Harper, forget about it. We need to move on. Tim Hightower, if you could re-sign him to a very timid deal, maybe like 3 years, $9 million, maybe even less if we can, that I would re-sign him. Kruger, no. John Kuhn, sure. I'm not sure what his contract is right now, but I highly doubt it's over 1.5 million. I highly doubt that, so we can re-sign him for about that. And then Sterling Moore, I'd probably move on. I'm looking to add a cornerback in free agency or the draft, so I'd probably move on. Not because he's bad, but because I just want to upgrade. We look at the team needs for this football team. So, defensive end. Left defensive end opposite of Cameron Jordan. We need a guy there. Okay, we need a mainstay there at defensive end. And with the 11th pick in the 2017 NFL Draft, I think plenty will be able to be had there. We look at cornerback. Look at offensive guard, possibly. If you let go of both Tim Lelito and Jahri Evans, this could be a need. If you let go of one of them, sure. You could start Andres Pete at like left guard. But I still might look to solidify that position. And then we also have defensive tackle if you let go of Nick Fairley. And no matter what, linebacker. Okay, you got to improve at linebacker. I think at least two linebackers. I said 3 earlier, but let's say 2. Get 2 linebackers in here. I mean, get a middle linebacker and get a weak side linebacker, and let's make some plays. We look at some potential free agent or trade acquisitions. Defensive end, Jason Pierre-Paul, DeMarcus Ware, Nick Perry, Jabaal, Sheard, William Gholston. Cornerbacks, AJ Bouye, Trumaine Johnson, Stephon Gilmore, Logan Ryan, and Kirkpatrick. Offensive guards, Ronald, Leary, Brian Winters, Chance Warmack, and Hugh Thornton. And let me just say, I don't know why you would I don't know why you would let go of Tim Lelito and Jahri Evans, guys that have been here for a while, to go sign a big free agent guard. That wouldn't make much sense to me, but whatever. We look at defensive tackles. Specifically, I want a guy that can stop the run a little bit. So let's look at Brandon Williams, Benny Logan, Sylvester Williams, and Damatar Peko. We look at linebackers, Lawrence Timmons. I think it'd be a nice veteran presence there. Look at Kevin Minter, Spencer Paysinger, Carlos Dansby, and Justin Durant. Some potential draft picks with your first and second round picks. Look at the first round first. We have the defensive end, Tim Williams out of Alabama. And it looks like, actually, I wrote this about a week ago. I think he's not going to go in the first. Well, he might go in the first round, but he's not going to go this high anymore. I think he's going to go a lot lower than this, so just forget about that. Look at defensive end, Derek Barnett. Possibly the same thing. So, again, things are really changing in terms of draft stock lately, so we'll see. But this guy, though, is a definite option. Defensive end, Solomon Thomas. And when I wrote this, I thought, okay, this would be a little bit of a reach, but they may take him here. Now it turns out he may not be here. Teams really like Solomon Thomas right now. Some potential cornerbacks. Okay, Marshawn Lattimore, Marlon Humphrey, Quincy Wilson, and let's throw in Tease Tabor. Okay, all potential cornerbacks there. Inside linebacker, Reuben Foster, another option to me. And to me, those are the only real options for this pick. Excuse me, another defensive end might be... There's no way Myles Garrett's falling, right? So maybe there's some Takaris McKinley if teams really like him, but I think this is a pretty good list right here, pretty solid list. We look at the second round prospects. So Takaris McKinley, if he falls all the way down to the second round, how about him? How about T.J. Watt, brother of J.J. Watt in the second round? How about Harold Landry? How about some cornerbacks and Desmond King, Adoree Jackson? How about some offensive guards and Ethan Pochich, who can also play center, and Dan Feeney? How about some defensive tackles in Lowell Lotulele? How about an inside linebacker in Raekwon McMillan, or an outside linebacker in your scheme in Jared Davis? So, plenty of options here for the Saints team, but you look at the dwindling window, the championship title prime window for Drew Brees. This is a football team that needs to start doing things now. Okay, they need to fix things defensively. If they do, Drew Brees can give you a nice Super Bowl run, but I mean like one. Okay, so another option here for the Saints might be to upgrade at backup quarterback. Now, I didn't add it to the list or anything like that because I'm not sure how they feel about Garrett Grayson. Personally, I've never been a great Garrett Grayson fan, but if they decide that, hey, this guy's pretty good, he looks good in practice, whatever, then probably that's the quarterback of the future. But don't be surprised if there's a Saints team that looks to upgrade their quarterback position. They take in the 4th or 5th round a Patrick Mahomes, a Chad Kelly, or something like that, and they mold a quarterback for the future. But I mean, whoever they take, it's going to be really hard for a quarterback after Drew Brees to have problems moving the football with this offensive line, with these wide receivers, with these running backs. It's going to be pretty hard for a quarterback to not find success with this football team. Now, defensively, though, they still have a lot of issues that they need to fix. Sean Payton, it looks like, will be back. We need to stop with these rumors every year. It doesn't look like he's going anywhere until the Saints team finally gives in. If they go 7-9 next year, I think he's gone. Okay, I think they need to improve tremendously, at least 9-7 next year, or there will be changes in this organization. So there you go. Those are my thoughts on the Saints 2016 season and my preview for their 2017 off season. What are your thoughts? Comment down below. I want to know. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, to subscribe. And until next time, this has been the MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. Peace.